I start out like
Something's wrong.
Vroom, it's your guy Travelmatic, and we are back with another live stream. Yes, it is Matic Mondays, and if this is your first time here, welcome. We talk about all things digital remote. I said digital remote. Supposed to be digital nomad, remote working, transferring your skills, mixed in with a little traveling and all that good stuff. So, like and subscribe. We over here talking about some good stuff, some gems. Just trying to get you in that nice position. But if this is your returning time, what's good? We are back. We are back in the building. And my wonderful co-host, Tiffany, what's good?
What's good, everybody? Good evening. Glad to see y'all. Welcome back, Adrian.
Yes, I apologize. My daughter had a ceremony for like seniorhood or something like that last Monday, so we had to push it to this Monday. All the stuff I have to do, father of a senior. So thank you for
Congratulations to your daughter. She is a beautiful girl, and great to know that she's smart too.
Oh yes, she is rocking. She's a little Einstein, man. Little Einstein. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. Um, so boy, the people are coming in already. We were just talking about Chief Rocker, Jersey, Vern is in the building. You gotta give him some. That's my Libra brother right there, man. We gotta give him some applause around here. What's good? What's good? Welcome. Appreciate you dropping through, Chief.
He wants to know what jersey you have on.
Oh, it's time. It's time. It's the Panthers, baby. This is a Benjamin, who's probably out the league now, or whatever. But
yes, he's out the league.
but still dear with us. Yeah. So Panthers keep pounding. We are on deck tonight. We up.
And I can finally put my track and field items away, which I'm not doing that. Just FYI, I'm still gonna wear my stuff all year round. Y'all wear y'all stuff all year round. I'm still gonna rock my track and field, but track and field season did wrap up yesterday, so I can proudly wear my Baltimore Ravens hats because we are 2-0. We did win last night versus the Cincinnati Bengals, so it was a home game for Cincinnati, and we came out with the W. So living in Cincinnati and being a Ravens fan, I was very happy. But I had a quiet week this week. Bengals fans was pretty quiet this week since they lost so badly to the Browns. So it was a great win yesterday in the jungle.
Yeah, y'all won. That's why I brought up. That's why I brought up Chief, because I thought you went on there to brag or whatever.
No, Chief didn't have his show, but I know my team will give me plenty of opportunities to brag about them, so I'm in good shape. I'll have many more opportunities to brag about.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't say that about your team though.
Well, I mean, you need to get on board because we got the future at quarterback. So,
and who is that?
What's his name?
You're talking to the team, y'all, that has Lamar Jackson. My team has Lamar Jackson, and he's saying who he can't remember the name is the future of.
No, I need Lamar the ball though. I got him in my fantasy squad, so I'm co champion of last year's. I could have won last year, but it just something happened that impacted that. But nonetheless, what's good? What's good? The people want to get to know what we were talking about today, which the topic is September surge, or is it a purge? September surge, or is it a purge? Because there's a lot of people getting laid off.
Oh yes, I just saw an article The other day, Roku cut 10% of their workforce. And companies like CVS and a whole bunch of other US companies, not just in the tech space. I know people lately have been focusing, especially when you talk about those keywords, September surge and purge and this and that usually applies in the tech space because those who've been in tech for a while know that September Q3 going into Q4 is the time that they really start letting people go. Q1, Q2, that's when you like in that little iffy spot. It's also a good time sometimes in the past where you could find an opportunity if you got it before September. So if you got it like around August before you got really into Q4. But yeah, a ton of companies have had massive layoffs. T-Mobile, Farmers Insurance, Robinhood, Grubhub are just a few names of companies outside of the tech space who have downsized significantly.
Yeah, we're talking about the thousands. Google, 12,000 in January. Facebook, 20,000, I think.
Well, and Google also, laid off additional people just last week.
Yeah, I just saw that. They let, I think 3,000. I think it was like recruiters and stuff like that.
Yeah, T-Mobile cut 5,000 U.S. jobs.
And then with the auto workers strike that happened this past week, that's going to have a trickle down effect to a lot of suppliers and that's not really IT like, but that's going to impact a lot.
Yeah, and just the other day, I think it was Ford let go 600 employees as a result of the strike in Detroit, I believe. So yeah, I mean, right now there seems to be more of a purge than it is a surge, at least in several fields.
Yes, and most of the time that those who get impacted first are sales recruiters, in tech.
Yeah, it's definitely if you are, it's definitely more difficult right now for those who are just trying to get a job because there's so many layoffs. So there's thousands of people who are hitting the market, and it's become extremely competitive.
Yeah. I've been working with my my little crew of BAs, and I've been telling them that they have to diversify themselves and get in a subject area because it's a lot. It's more, especially with social media. There's more people wanting to get into tech in the last 4 to 5 years. Because some people make it easier than it is, which is not difficult, but it takes work to get into tech. You can't just go by somebody's Instagram post and sign up for my newsletter, and I can get you in there real quick. Look at how I did it, and I got $150,000 salary and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so you got so many imposters out there that's trying to get into it. So it's just flooding the market. I have notifications up still from LinkedIn. A remote role, especially a remote role.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, and if that comes out in an hour, there's at least 900, 1,000 people who applied to that job. It'll show you in the header of the job.
Yeah, and we're talking about people who were laid off, but let's not forget all of those places who have called, like Boeing, and other places who have called for everyone to come back into the office, right? And so there are those who are quitting, opportunities because they're like, I don't want to go back into the office. So it's not just what we're seeing on the market right now. It's not just those who are being laid off, but those who are striking and those who are refusing to, kind of go back into the office. And that's across all industries. I think people are running to tech the last 4 or 5 years because of the remote work possibilities. You know, it's more expanded, it's more common than some other fields.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely. It's not just those who are being, laid off.
Yeah, it's funny. Great little segue into this article I read about Amazon CEO shows remote employees the door. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy is once again making his stance on remote work very clear at the very public back and forth between Amazon employees and company execs. The managing director recently told workers who weren't willing to make it into the office 3 days a week to find work elsewhere, according to sources. And I think they have a statement here from him. We're going back to the office at least 3 days a week, and it's not right for all our teammates to be in 3 days a week and for people to refuse to do so. That's crazy.
I sent you a TikTok on employers versus employees. And this is one of the things, one of the CEOs got caught making some very, very disparaging comments about remote work. And kind of like what kind of mindset employees need to have now. I mean, we're looking at this article, and it's obvious that this, we thought maybe the remote work and versus working in the office war was pretty much over. We kind of figured we only had a limited time left to stay remote. Some of us who have been remote for years are starting to feel the pressure of going back into the office to get, expand your roles. But, this TikTok kind of resonated with me. So shout out to the creator who stitched it. But yeah, she has some very interesting comments about what these CEOs are pushing back for.
To see pain in the economy, we need to remind people that they work.
So we're at a crossroads where we're going to have to ask ourselves individually and collectively what it is that we actually want and what the purpose of living in life is. Because right now we are being told that the only purpose we have on this earth is to be a worker. And this person is saying the quiet parts out loud about what a racial capitalist system will always do to the worker. It will be violent and it will be extractive. He literally is saying that the worker needs to feel pain. We need to feel the weight of not being able to support ourselves and have our basic needs met because we refuse to give up of our labor to those small few who benefit from it and then hoard everything while telling us we have to do more. So now we're at the crossroads. How are we defining life? How are we defining living? Because this is not it. But also, we will never find those answers outside of ourselves. We will not find those answers in these same systems. You cannot fix a system that does not want to be fixed. All you are doing is fixing it so that you can somehow benefit from it in one way, shape, or form. But that usually is a delusion because very, 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 very few times do you actually benefit from a system that is extracting from you. So then what does living in life mean to you? What does living in life mean to those around you? And how can you center that as a way to figure out what it means to resist against these oppressive systems? Because right now they are telling us they would rather see us unalived, but be able to still provide something for them than actually have anything for us. This is the time of the worker to take back the idea of what it means to live, because we are not producers. We are human beings. Create, don't procreate.
Well, damn.
Yeah, I thought her passionate plea to us kind of resonates some of the things that me and you throughout pretty much every episode of Manic Monday have always said is you've got to find a way to make your life meaningful for you outside of what you're doing. And us providing this platform to talk about remote work, we talk about in ways you can do that, because it's clear they've made it so that you have to live to work. I mean, you have to work, right? You have to work. There's not, everything has been commodified. And it's something that unless you've found a way to not do it, you have to work to support yourself. So in this space, this is the time to be very smart with all of these layoffs. And it's an excellent opportunity for you to pivot and find other ways that you can maneuver to make money in a career standpoint, so that you can start to really work on the other things that make you who you are. because it is very clear that it's not going to be handed to us. You've got to take it, which means you've got to take the initiative. They're not going to give you the training. You've got to go find the training. You've got to listen to podcasts and shows like this that give you information, take notes, take that information and run and find out what it is that you can do during this time. Yes, September surge is happening in some areas, but also what we've just talked about, there's mostly layoffs. So what can you do? How can you position what you've already done to put yourself in a better position at the end of the day?
Yeah, I just really wanted to give the lady a round of applause. Like, she, yeah. But some things that I drew out of that conversation, that speech she was having, is just capitalism. You're gonna have in order to have a capitalistic society, you have to have a rich and a poor. So, and the poor are gonna be doing more of the work than the rich. So, who is going to be the poor, who's going to be the rich. So it's nothing you really can do to fix it, because that's just what America was built on, like getting people to do work for them for very low wages or no wages at all. If you talk about slavery, but yeah, that's the backbone that's what makes the U.S. drive is capitalism. But yeah, that's why you have to put yourself in certain positions. I know myself, I'm thankful that a young lady by the name of Yolanda put that project management in my ear, which I do work like a slave right now. But when you get that check, it helps. It heals. You feel a little more, soothing when you get that check in when that direct deposit hit. But it hurts when you don't get the check you desire. Direct deposit, and you looking like, dang, I need to find another job. You got to work 2 and 3 jobs.
Yeah, I was thinking with the price of inflation. I just came from the grocery store, and there's a bag of popcorn that I always get, Smart Food popcorn. Y'all know it's the black bag with the white cheddar cheese on it, and that's like my favorite. I don't know.
Yeah, I just had some of that today, actually.
And that bag used to be $2.99, and they want $5.19 for that bag now.
Oh, you got the big bag?
Well, yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking I had a little bag because it was from.
No, the little bags are full of air. The bigger bags, at least you get something. But they're $5.19 now. So inflation, one of the things we talked about before is that what used to be a lot is no longer a lot. You have a little extra, but if you have a family, which most of us have, then, and after insurance and all that stuff, bills we paying now, you don't have a whole surplus remaining.
Yeah, have you been seeing this dollar menu thing content going around talking about the McDonald's? Really, it's McDonald's, I think. They're talking about
everybody. Burger King, McDonald's. I live in Ohio, so we have White Castles. Everybody's offering today, because today is National Burger Day, I guess. And they're offering 10-cent or free burgers and stuff like that. And people are like, don't eat those burgers because they probably genetically modified meat or lab grown meat, which the FDA did approve lab grown meat in June to hit the market. And don't think that restaurants aren't going to be the first place to test that out. So
yeah, I haven't.
Even the CEO of that company said that they have several contracts with restaurants. So that's why everybody's like, don't eat them dollar hamburgers.
Right. But yeah, those dollar. I remember you can get that what was that value meal from McDonald's, $3.19 at the tax, fries and a drink, medium drink. You can't get that now.
Oh no.
That $3.19. No. I got another one of yours here. And
is it the Purge one?
No, this is the September surge one here.
Okay.
Just to kind of give people. Did I stop? Okay. Miss Kaya.
Google announces new round of job cuts, laying off hundreds in recruitment division. Updated on September 14th.
I just talked about that
today. At least in the information technology space, hiring for the rest of this year is not going to surge up. That's what I was trying to get at in my "There is no September surge" video. Now, I want to say something about recruiters charging people to look at their resumes to help them with September surge, but I'm not going to get into that. Instead, I'm going to offer you some resources if you're still struggling with your job search. Last year, I gave the job tip saying that you should go on LinkedIn and search "we're hiring" and also "I'm hiring." So I did that today, and I did "I'm hiring" and "marketing," and a bunch of posts came up, about 246 within the past 24 hours. This is a great time to continue using that tip. I also did "we're hiring" and "engineering," and 247 posts also came up. This person posted 3 hours ago saying they're currently hiring full stack engineers and product leads. In addition to that, I've been talking a lot about contract work because that's currently what I'm doing. I'm continuing to have recruiters reach out to me saying that they're getting an influx of contract requests from their clients. Forbes published this article, America's Best Professional Recruiting Firms. People are always asking me, how do you find the right firms that are not scams? I'm not sure how many firms are on here, but they give a lot. If I were looking for a job, I would be going through this list. You go on some of these company websites, they may have an option for you to upload your resume directly to their platform. And if they have any opportunities that are a good fit for your skills, a recruiter will get in contact with you. Another thing that I would do personally is go through this whole list and find people who work at these companies and send them my resume on LinkedIn. We have to have hope that the economy is going to get better and the job market will get better. In the meantime, you have to cast a really wide net, continuing to apply to full-time jobs, but also being open to other types of employment.
Yeah, and so we talk about contracting. You know, FTE being a full-time hire may not be possible if you're laid off or you're looking for a job. And if you've not contracted before, certain fields have contractors. That's, you know, even nursing has contractors, right? Now's a good time to get into contracting. There's going to be, we've talked about the ups and downs of contracting, but you know, casting a wide net, those are key things you want to look for, take away from this conversation that she had. And don't pay anybody to do your resume.
Man.
Don't pay anybody to do your resume.
And I don't like
your resume. Don't pay anybody to do anything with your resume. Please, I implore you. Nobody needs $35 to do your resume. Don't waste your money.
Yeah, I don't knock the hustle though. You know, if somebody willing to buy something, yeah, I love goods and services, man. But it's not going to help you long term to have somebody do your work. It's almost like the fit. I teach you how to fish, then to give you fish or whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
You got to teach people how, and that's what I kind of do with some of the guys I have with me, is that I tell them that, you know, I'm gonna help them this one time, but I'm gonna show you how to really do your resume, and before what you had and what I do for you, and you can see the difference. And this is what you need to do. But you don't need to just have one. There's one resume don't fit all 5, 10, 15, or 100 jobs you apply to. If you're going to apply to 100 jobs, I'm saying 100 jobs because of this one Instagram person. I mean, yeah, IG person. You need to have at least 5 to 10 different resumes. So you can't just be paying another person another $35, $40 for the next 2 resumes. Just learn to do it yourself. There's a lot of platforms out there that help you with it. There's AI tools. There's YouTube videos on how to do your resume. Do your resume. That is the source. Going out and I don't really like the word casting a wide net because that's the plan for everybody. I think you have to be more centralized. You have to the people that I work with, I tell them there's 3 things to it. You need to learn what area you want to be in for as the role. You want to be a BA, you want to be a project manager, you want to be a project coordinator, you want to be a developer. You need to understand what do you want to do. If you're in IT, you want to be in IT. Next, you need to know the platform. You need to specialize in some platform. Like this is my baby. For the longest, Salesforce was my baby. Like I knew Salesforce in and out, every module. Then I kind of branched on to other things, other platforms, but I specialized in Salesforce. So I still get hits for Salesforce right now to this day. And then once you get that, then get the certification is the third part. If you can get a certification in Salesforce admin, ServiceNow, BA, if you can get your Scrum Master certification, all that packaged together makes you very, very strong than a person that just got experience or they're just starting out. So you need to focus all of that with the resume too. Resume, role, platform, certification. You done. You ready. They coming for you. Okay, and also this lady showed a lot of lists. My former, I seen the 2 or 3 companies that I worked for on that list. That was a good one too. Going on the platforms for these websites. Those are some of your major IT, nursing, accounting, finance. What else? HR. Those are your major recruitment firms that they're gonna check their database first. When they get a hiring manager to come to them, say, hey, I need this resource, this experience, bam, bam, bam. You need to have this certification possibly. They're gonna check their home database. Then if they can't find it in their home database, then they reach, they go to the external sites, the Monsters, the Indeeds, and all that stuff. But you can kind of have an inside lane if you've already there in their database. They don't really have to have nothing for you. Just put it there. So if you do need something, they'll find you.
Well, before we read the comments, because we do got some good questions coming in the comments. One thing I want people to understand are gone, especially for those who are Gen X and millennials. Millennials probably know this, but Gen X, we need to know. Gone are the days where a hiring manager is flipping through resumes on their desk. They're not looking at 6,000 resumes on their desk no more. You know what I mean? Like it's an algorithm. There's a computer program that's looking at the resumes and pulling out those candidates who are aligned with the algorithm, whose qualifications align with what they've deemed as, necessary for this role. So those resumes that have those qualities are the ones who are going to pass the test within the algorithm to even get into the hands of the hiring manager. So it's important that you update your resume without that, information in mind by using those resources that we talked about, using YouTube for tips, using AI for tips. Don't let AI write your whole resume because they do have AI detectors, right? So it's a combination of a couple of things, but being mindful there are new ways to update and make yourself stand out based upon the job description of the place you're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Dave R, what's going on, Dave R? He says, I heard someone say it perfectly. He only said out loud what a lot of executives think in their mind and won't say in an interview.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I haven't had any case of bait and switch, Dave. I take that back. In the first interview, usually there's a couple of interviews, but the first interview usually is the recruiter, and they're just trying to see if you're a good fit to even get in front of the client, right? And those are when, Dave, you'll get those questions about, where are you willing to, this is going to be a hybrid position, this is going to be 100% remote, and you can start asking those questions about, expectations then. But yeah, a lot of executives, while themselves will not be in the office, want their staff to be back in the office.
Mm-hmm. We got Tiffany Poole Important in the house, one of our favorite contributors.
Hey, PMP, she just celebrated a birthday this past weekend.
Oh, happy belated birthday. Oh, I got to give a applause for that too. Oh, yeah. Tiffany Poole Portland. Yes. All right. Wishing you many, many more. Okay, we got the Chi talking to Tiffany, and then we got my guy Big J, London base, by way of Jamaica.
Hey, Jay.
Huh. He already said, "Hey, Big J."
I cannot stand you. Y'all do not like Adrian.
Double big. Hey.
He gets on my nerves.
What's good? What's good? Respect, blessings, and respect. Okay, so we got. I wish there was a legitimate agents outside of sports and an entertainment for the everyday person to get them work. I would pay for that.
Well, just like she mentioned in her video, Dave, there are several top recruiter firms that do just that. And that's not even including those who are headhunters. Headhunters actually, they look specifically for you a role. And I think you do. I've never worked with a headhunter. Adrian, have you?
Mm-mm.
You never worked with a headhunter?
Mm-mm.
But they look for a role just for you. And I believe you do have to pay them a commission or some kind of fee based upon them getting you a role.
Brian says, "What if you're not good at it?
Good at what? Writing a resume? It's probably what that question is about.
Oh, okay.
If you're not good at writing a resume, you can get good at writing a resume by the same way you can get good at anything else. You can go on YouTube University, you can go on TikTok. There are several resources that you can Google how to write a good resume 2023, how to make your resume stand out 2023. Like there are so many people are offering bits of information on how to write your resume. And Brian, another thing you can do is look at the job description for what you want. We talk about here transferable skills all the time. When they say they want somebody who has organizational management experience. Well, if you've worked for an organization and you've had people underneath you, guess what? You've got organizational management experience. So you can talk, generally speaking, based upon what they're asking for and what you've done and correlate the two into a bullet point on your resume. Adrian has talked about being a BA. I've talked about being a project manager or a program manager. I can pull up 10 different program management or project management job descriptions, and I can think about what I've done in my career that are equivalent to what they're asking me to be able to do. Can I schedule projects? Can I get resources and assign resources to different roles? Can I manage a budget? Can I, can I collect requirements? Can I speak up to executive management team, business leaders, and then to my development team? Can I run a scrum call? Like these are all questions that I could ask when I'm thinking about what I've done as I'm looking at the job description. And then that job description becomes my resume. I just pull out what I've done based upon the job descriptions I have. And those are my bullet points for what I've done in the past. That's how you write your resume.
Mm-hmm. And we have Kyle here to break down some remote jobs here.
Just wait, bro.
Agreed. There's a lot of remote roles popping up. You just gotta know where to look. Here are 3 of my favorite job boards for remote roles. First one is WeWorkRemotely.com. They have a ton of tech roles and other roles that aren't in tech. Second is SkipTheDrive.com. You can browse these different remote roles by category. Last one is wellfound.com. This used to be known as AngelList, but there's a section where you can just look for remote roles.
Okay. There's a lot of these little, sometimes I think these sites be kind of buggy and scammy. Because they really just kind of grab jobs from Indeed or the big search engines. And so it just kind of just pulls traffic to their website because it says remote jobs. But I mean, nonetheless, it's still cool. I did want to talk about in the space of remote jobs, there's a lot of jobs going away for the remote. Like there's not a lot of remote jobs. People still want those jobs to travel. So recently I've been hearing, and I think we definitely spoke about this because I always wanted to give the difference between remote jobs and digital nomad jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So in the little travel groups, the little guy travel groups, a lot of conversation has been going on about, as I told you about the Colombia digital nomad visa.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys have gotten those, but they ran into a little snag now. The VPNs are being detected.
Wow.
The security systems that they have now, the Oktas, the variant, they can detect them now. Those IP addresses, even though they're virtual, it still registers a VPN. And let's say I'm in Atlanta, it could be Miami. That VPN is still registered under a VPN company, so it's a VPN address. So any VPN IP address that's registered to a VPN company can get flagged. So it's owned by VPN. It's not like a VPN. A IP address for your home, because that is owned by, mine is AT&T, so it's owned by AT&T. So right. It's fair game. But if it's owned by ExpressVPN, red flag. So most of these companies guys who are using VPNs are owned by VPN IP addresses. So that's how they're gonna get flagged. Because one of our good friends, actually, he wasn't even outside of the country yet, but because he connected a VPN to his work laptop, it instantly set off an alert.
And wow, really? Oh, so remember, I sent the video, guys, earlier last week to Adrian, actually for Manic Monday, talking about what was the term? Quiet something. Remember?
You sent.
I'll see if I can find it. It's quiet
quitting or quiet.
No. Oh, it's called hush trips. Hush trips. Those are trips people take because they work remotely, but they don't tell anybody they're taking a trip. They just go and work remotely.
Right. But we spoke about that being domestic or international.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've always spoke about this, like, because I saw this coming, because so many people was like, get your VPN, remote work. All they need is a VPN,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but yeah, do that at your own risk. Now there's risk now that is,
that you're going to get flagged.
Yeah. And well, the systems got, and I don't know, I know I spoke to my guy Calvin the other day about VPNs and stuff. And like, I just got on full time, as you know. Anytime you go through new hire training, especially in this IT space or you in remote role, they're going to talk about this. And like, it wasn't really talked about so much because you was going in the office. So a lot of companies have done an upgrade to their training modules to kind of let you know, like, I know it was kind of cloudy before. You didn't really know if you could do this or do that. We letting you know now in new hire training or, your yearly training that we don't want you to take this laptop out this goddamn country. We're making it clear as day. There's no discrepancy on what is what or what is not allowed. Do not take this laptop out the country.
So this guys is why it's important. And me and Adrian probably have different views on this, because I make it a practice of letting people know that I travel outside the country. And I do plan to travel outside the country. If you want me to work while I'm outside the country, I need to be able to take my laptop. If I can't take my laptop, I'm going to be taking off, but I'm going to be going out the country. So
that way, if you can go out the country or not, with your own time, or I mean, if you on their time.
No, but I prefer to take longer trips and be able to work while I'm remote so that I can take longer trips.
Right.
I don't want to be limited to a week or two, is what I'm saying. So those who, those who would like to do that, it's okay to be upfront and honest and ask about those expectations.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a part of being or not, or being kind of sneaky with it. They are being sneaky with it because they know they can't go out the country. But you want to be a rebel, or you want to take the approach of do now and ask for forgiveness later type thing.
Like, I didn't know. It's not in the handbook.
Right. And so a lot of people have been getting fired, like zero tolerance on it, And now, I mean, it's all up to the discretion of the manager, I think, sometimes too, because you don't know if that person knew or not, or what. I mean, I think sometimes too about if you've been walking a thin line before and they catch you with that, it's all we was already trying to find something to get you.
Yeah, most of the time you get a warning, like if you want to travel outside the U.S., don't take your laptop. That's usually what the warning is.
Right. And I've asked some people because I have been just I did it. Everybody, I did it. Thank God I didn't get caught or anything like that. But I've asked people who, I mean, I did it on like a week or two type thing. I mean, I know people that's 2-3 years out doing it. Ever since the pandemic started, they've been traveling abroad, with the remote. And I asked them how, what happened, or did you ever get caught? I'm like, you had to have gotten caught. And everybody said, yeah, I got caught, but they just didn't trip about it. Or they said, one person said, I told them I was coming back this week and it was okay. And then another person said, they didn't even say nothing, or my guy Jay in Colombia, I think he had to log out and take his, this was around when the pandemic first happened, that he kind of purposely went to Colombia, but knowing that he was going to probably get, stuck there, and got stuck there, but they told him he had to take his PTO, but he couldn't get back on. Like, okay, if you want to still make some money, you got to take all your PTO, and then hopefully we can get you back over here by the time your PTO ran out, or you'll be, taking it as a loss. So I think he met that time where he was not able to take it as a loss. But so it worked out for him. But actually, he has been granted to work out the country now. So yeah. Another one of our friends too got granted as well a few weeks. Not full time, but 2 or 3 weeks a month he can go out. So that's good too.
Wow.
Yeah, it all depends because it's and the reason why with the 2 to 3 weeks, and I don't know if the other guy, my guy Jay, is on a time schedule, because it's the tax part of it, and then there's the security part of it too. Like, where are you working? When you're abroad, like, are you in a coffee shop, or you at a co-location spot? Those places can easily be, compromised. And then the tax part is like you pay taxes, you pay your state taxes in the place where you live,
right?
Even if you're remote, regardless of.
Yeah.
So if you're not there working in the place where you are, your address is for the company, we have you logged. We have you for Florida. I'm not Florida. Well, Georgia. Like, my company is out of Virginia, I believe. But I'm paying state taxes on my check in Georgia, because I live in Georgia. So that's where they're going to tax me at. So if I go to Honduras for the whole year, there's tax implications there that they don't want to get caught up in, and myself or whatever, because I have to pay foreign tax as well too once you stay over there. I think over what is it? I think if you're if you're out of the U.S. over 30 days or less, that you're well, less than a month. If you're out more than that, you have to pay taxes somewhere like in Honduras or either in both countries or in one country. So it is a lot of tax issues with that. So yeah, that's another reason why it's kind of complicated to work abroad.
Yeah, PMP says in the comments to try headhunters and executive level staffing agencies. They are paid a commission, giving them incentive to find you work and a higher salary, so they are paid higher. That's very much true. I've never personally, like I said, used a headhunter, but I have absolutely used executive level staffing agencies. Actually, that's how I got into IT. I worked for an executive level staffing agency, and they placed me let me stop. They placed me at a consulting firm, and that's how I got into tech.
Okay. Through the company's website, firewall, executive IP address coupled with. Yeah, you can run into some issues. That's why you need a VPN as well. Because if you get on a Honduras IP address, that IP address is blacklisted because it's an international IP address, and it won't allow you to go through the firewall unless you kind of get approval for that, and then that's like a lot of stuff too. So you use the VPN and set it for Los Angeles, and a Los Angeles IP address can get through the company's firewall.
Yes.
So that's another reason why you would need one. If you're trying to access their intranet, that's the thing.
Right.
Accessing their intranet.
Can you just go over again for those? It's because it's been a while since we talked about VPN. Just briefly, what VPN is and how you can use it for work remotely.
Yeah, and I'm gonna introduce you to something else new that what's his name? It was not Grego, but
Jay Clyde.
Jay Clyde taught me.
Shout out to Jay Clyde.
Jay Clyde broke it down to me, and then another guy told me about it, and I was like, I've been hearing about this VPS.
Okay.
VPS instead of a VPN. But okay, the VPN virtual protocol network, virtual provider network, or whatever it's called. It is a network that is what masks your. Actually, I just had. I just read something on this. Well, anyway, a VPN is a virtual private network. It helps you with protecting your. It's actually very good if you're in any coffee shop, library, public. If you're on a public IP address, is actually good security protocol to actually have a VPN.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you're on a public VPN, there's other people on that network that can come up to your network and patch down to your actual drive, desktop, laptop, and take
cell phone, because these are mini computers. Don't get it twisted. They can get in this too.
Yes, you have VPNs for phones as well too that you can. I have one for my phone too that I never really use, but unless I'm trying to like buy some flight tickets, which actually it can save you a good bit of dollars as well by
save me $300 for my next trip
using a VPN to book your trip in certain countries and stuff.
And domestically, not just other countries.
Oh yeah, domestically too. Yeah,
so it can save you a lot of money.
I mean, but it's really more for international because, like, if I want to get if I want to buy a ticket in Brazil, so when I go to Rio and I want to go from Rio to Now, actually, that's why I know because I did it this way. Rio to Salvador, if I buy it from my laptop here with no VPN, it's going to give me a little higher rate because there's the conversion and all that stuff too. But if I patch in and put a VPN on this laptop, and as if I was in Rio purchasing a ticket, it's going to be a lot lesser. I mean, 10 to 20% less. Because they're gonna make it seem like I'm a person in Brazil buying a ticket, and it won't charge me, or they won't detect that I'm from the US. So yeah, but anyway, so yes, but you need the VPN as I described before in order to get to your company's firewall, because you need a IP address from the United States. Now you can do ExpressVPN, NordVPN, Shark something VPN. There's tons of them. I would read up on which one you think is better for you, because they do have certain pros and cons to it, even though you may think
each one,
yeah.
And you just download that to your device, laptop.
Right. And so let me show you one thing here. So you need a router. You need a VPN router. This is actually called a travel router, where and it's made by GLINet. It's real easy to set up, real easy to configure. You need to configure it first. You can do it on your phone, or you can do it on your laptop.
And those are about $40 on Amazon, guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes and no. This is a travel router, so it's really small. My hand is kind of big, but it's like this. But there's some that are 2 times bigger than this that cost 2 times the money. They may be like $180, $200, $300. I've seen them up to $300. Do they do the same thing? Yes, but sometimes one is slower than the other for its down speed and upward speed. But this one can get the job done if you're not doing no gaming or nothing like that. So, and it's easy to just throw in your bag. And so they got the ports here, and then they have a WAN line. This is wireless too. You can connect it, set it up to just get to your, I don't want to say hotel, because sometimes a hotel is not the best place to use these, because you may not be able to connect this router. This router has to be connected to a Wi-Fi source. Can you do it? Yes, you can. But the best way to do it is to connect it to a hard line. I think the hard lines, because I've heard people get caught up in if this drops, or if the Wi-Fi drops in a hotel or in the neighborhood you're in, you can get exposed, and that can impact you 2 ways. It can impact you from somebody actually looking and lurking and trying to find some information and patch into your laptop, or if you're trying to hide from your employer, it can expose your that VPN can drop, and the actual Colombian VPN can be pulled in, causing your system to have a red flag or alert. Because when like if you don't use a hard line, every time a laptop goes down, if my laptop goes down right now, once I boot it back up, it's automatically triggered to find Wi-Fi. It's going to automatically find Wi-Fi. But I have an Ethernet cord in I'm hardwired right now. So if it goes down, it's not going to go and find other Wi-Fi, because I'm hardline right now. So if I wasn't hardline, it's going to look for my neighbor's Wi-Fi. It may look for the person under me. It may look for a phone around my phone that has a hotspot. It may look for anything. You don't want it looking for things when you're in Colombia or you in Honduras.
Right.
It's all of those sources around you are Colombia IP addresses, and that's how people get caught. So, you configure this, hardwire it to the router, hardwire this WAN line to your laptop. You're secured, even if it drops. And And yeah, so you're good to go. This is really good. It only cost me $50, I think, $60 maybe. And yeah, so now they got the VPS. Dudes are like, hey, we got a game. We gonna work remote abroad, right? So so here I have a Wi-Fi.
There's a great article on Google about VPS, on Google Cloud about VPS.
Yes, and what VPS does, and my short research of it is the one thing that makes it's almost foolproof. I don't want to say it's not foolproof because you can sometimes still detect if it's a VPN. Now, like I said before, the VPN that you was using with like ExpressVPN is owned by ExpressVPN. So I'm thinking that's how people are getting caught, because if you put in okay, so when you do put this together, right? The way you always want to test it. You want to put at least 2 or 3 IP addresses on here. Like if I'm in Atlanta, here I have Washington D.C., I have New York, and somewhere else. I don't have Atlanta on here.
Why?
Because I want to test it. You can't test if.
Oh, if you're using it, never mind. I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. The audience might not understand.
Yeah. So and people have done it before. They've think, put. I want to show that I'm home. I want to show that I'm home, right? That's what I want to be. I want to always people think that I am home. So when you test it, you're going to test it off the ATL IP address. Mm-hmm. Do you really know if it's the IP address for this VPN or if it's the IP address at your house?
Yeah.
Sometimes you may not know that. You may not know your IP address here or whatever at your house. I don't know mine. But if I put Washington, D.C. IP address on here, I connect to it, test it out. I go to myipaddress.com, or you can go to many different sites. Even ExpressVPN has it on their website. And once you find your IP address, it should say in the description, Washington, D.C. Bam, you up. If it says Atlanta, something's wrong, because you initially connected to the IP address for Washington, D.C. through here. Now you're going into your laptop for my IP address and it says Atlanta, something didn't right. It should say Washington, D.C. And so that's why you don't never really want to put the one that you here for. You can add it as you could put, I think, up to maybe 5 or 10 IP addresses on here, because you want to have multiple ones, because sometimes the tower goes down in one place. And if you have a problem there, you could always jump to New York. So if I have a problem on the Washington, D.C. IP address when I'm in Honduras, oh, it's not working. It's not catching. Let me see the New York one. Check the New York. Bam, it works. So I got to back up. You can add it on the fly, but it takes a while. So you always just want to have them already stored on here.
And okay. My strategy for that is if I put DC, I'm also going to put like Maryland, Baltimore. So if the DC one goes out, then I have one that's in the same vicinity. Because my company that I currently work for, if I ping in DC and then the DC goes out and I ping an hour later in New York, they're going to be asking questions. So I don't want to ping multiple locations in one day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll check it. I mean, they're not, on guard, like watching that stuff. Like they're on guard. It's all actually a workflow. Like I said, our friend that got caught up with the we put on it just sends a trigger. It sends an email out. It copies his manager, and it says, "Hey, we detected you." And it's all workflow. There's nobody really like sitting there watching. Like,
yeah, they wrote an API for it to catch it.
No, they ain't really wrote an API for it. The API goes and get information and brings it back. But
yeah, somebody had to write an API to go detect them, bring that information back.
Well, the VPN hit the firewall. That's what happened there. Like they have that firewall structured to detect any type of VPN addresses, any type of foreign addresses, any type of blacklist AP, any type of blacklist IP address, and if so, the formula went if this detect send out email trigger is all these triggers set up. So, but then they'll get the email themselves and say, okay, well, we need to. Who was this? This was Tom Willis. Oh, we need to call him because it just sent off an alert. It's just like that, pretty much. But the
VPS. I need to do some research on that.
The VPS is actually okay. So I went to a company and put that on here, put that IP address on here. I can actually take the IP address and port the IP address. You have to have Wi-Fi porting though. Every provider does not do that, and I don't know technically why they don't. And I can kind of have some thoughts of why they don't allow that. But you have to make sure your carrier has Wi-Fi porting.
Your carrier? Who's your carrier? You mean your
yeah, your Wi-Fi carrier, your AT&T, Verizon, Comcast.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to make sure they have that. So then you port that to here, and store it on here. So when you do use it in Honduras or Colombia, let's say I label it home Wi-Fi. When I'm in Honduras and I connect the home Wi-Fi, it
shows you at home. Yeah,
it's going to show that I'm home, and it's not a VPN address. It's not a blacklisted IP address. It's my actual home IP address that I've been using since I started work.
Oh, I'm about to get the VPS, and I'm gonna test this out for my next adventure. You just gave me an idea.
So that's what. Well, it's really not a thing. You need to know if you can.
I just looked up my provider, and yes, you can. They even have instructions on how to do it.
Wi-Fi porting, yeah.
Yep.
And yeah,
they call it port forwarding.
Yeah, port forwarding, yeah. Because you're forwarding it to this right here.
Yeah.
To your router.
Oh, I'm definitely getting this.
And so you essentially made your own server. That's what the S in server.
Yeah, it stands for server. We done got all off the topic, but these are all going to be important things and are applicable to September Purge or September Surge, because these are all ways you're going to have to try to figure out how you can still remain a remote worker in this climate and what you need to do to protect yourself and your interests in the lifestyle that you're trying to build for yourself. These points, these things, it might seem like it's not related, but trust me, the more you know about how you can remain 100% remote and what you need to do, especially if you want to travel abroad, these things are more important because now you got the job. Now where are you going to go? You know, how are you going to do it? Don't just get the job and think, okay, I can go to Honduras. Like, no, we're giving you information to let you know once you got the job, there's some things you have to do to put yourself in the best position to be successful at what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's it, man. That's all I really wanted to talk about.
Well, it's good to have you guys back in the studio audience or in the chat room. Really appreciate all who stopped by and asked questions and made comments. We always appreciate your support. Much love to you guys.
Yes. Who else is out there? Is anybody else out there? Well, you want to thank everybody that dropped through. Brian Williams, David R, Mocha Bella, Big J. Wrap It Up Sports was in the building. Okay. Yes. I've been wanting to Wrap It Up Sports. I want to see y'all do fantasy football, man. I really want to see y'all do fantasy football. I think y'all channel can like skyrocket off fantasy football. If y'all add that to y'all, I meant to comment on that the other day on y'all's page. Yeah, fantasy football is hot. It's a hot.
Everybody's playing fantasy football except me.
Oh, okay. You have played before, though, right?
I have played before, but my rule now is I won't play fantasy football before track season is over. And as we know, track season goes until mid to late September. And now the NFL, you know, we're in week 2 of NFL. So
right.
I won't even, you know, fantasy takes some research. So,
oh yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, I won't even look at it until you know, track season's over. Yeah,
it takes a lot of time. More time than I actually be wanting to do, but kind of addictive.
I don't need any. I have addictive personality. I don't need anything else to be addicted to. I got enough vices I'm trying to get rid of as it is.
Yeah, it's very addictive. You want to stay away. I really don't have time for it, but
apparently you're making time for it.
Well, because I'm co-champion of last year, and I've won a few of them. I've won probably about 5 championships over the years. So yeah, I'm just defending my crown, just defending my co-crown this year. So yeah, but it does take a lot of time on my schedule. So all right, well, with that, we're gonna get out of here. We'll see y'all in maybe like 2 weeks or so. If nothing else don't come up, I don't know what. Let me see.
What's the date? 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, I'll be around.
I'll be around.
I was trying to go out somewhere around there, actually. Not that day though, but sometime that week. I mean, it's still up in the air. I don't know.
West Coast in October. So those of you who are on the West Coast, I'll be out there for a couple of weeks.
Go and kick it with Tiff.
No, that's not okay. I was like, don't name no people.
Well, I'm saying if y'all want to hook up with Tiff, man, she'll be out there. Hit up, slide in her DMs, y'all.
No, don't listen to him. Don't slide in my DMs. Keep them nice and desert dry like they are now.
Slide up in there. She letting y'all know where she gonna be at. So
the West Coast is a big area, so you don't know where I'm gonna be.
Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't say exactly. So
exactly.
I ain't gonna say if it's New Mexico or not, but
you send somebody to Mexico looking for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we are gone, peoples. I'll holler at y'all. Thank y'all.
Rise up.
Yeah, we're gonna keep pounding. Keep pounding, Panthers. And that, we're gone.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.